Hello, everyone. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and we have our brand new show. It's a little bit of an old show, but it's a new twist on it. It's a boy and girl thing, and I'm Cece Schatz, and I have with me...
And I'm Derek Bernard.
Derek Bernard. Oh, very sexy voice. So what do you think, ladies? So we are going to be talking about the differences of men and women, how we look at things sometimes differently. Maybe we'll get lucky and look at everything the same way. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Derek.
Well, I mean, I guess I've gone through a lot of relationships in my life, and I'm single, and I think I love being single more, though.
Ooh. That's a story that's ready to be told.
Yeah, I mean, so tonight I guess we're going to look at some things about the single life and have a chat about it and see exactly how it can gel with what we believe and how men and women view things differently and stuff like that. So that is, I guess that's the gist of it. Yeah.
Well, those of you that don't know me, I'm Cece Schatz, and I'm the doyenne of relationship building. So I help take you through divorce, transition of dating, and really building that new life of being single and enjoying it. So we're going to start with our topic tonight. And our topic is, what is it? It's the biggest lies about love that you may believe. And so we came across this article, which we thought was kind of cool. And Derek had mentioned it. So like the biggest lies about love that you may believe. So let's see what the first one is. If you're jealous, you are crazy about me. So what do you think about that one? Do you think that that's true? If you're jealous in a relationship, that means you're crazy about the other person?
Well, for me, I think if you're jealous, you're just plain crazy.
That's what I was going to say. You stole my mind.
Because I think jealousy is one of the things in a relationship that really makes it go downhill. Because relationships are supposed to be built on trust.
Right.
And if there's real trust, there's not, so in my book at least, there's not supposed to be jealousy. You're supposed to understand your partner and understand, what should happen, what will happen in that relationship without questioning things too much or without getting jealous. Mm-hmm. Jealousy is destructive.
About the security of the individual themselves, the ones that tend to be quite jealous, they have insecurities of their own they're trying to deal with. It's not necessarily they're jealous of you. It's just they have issues of their own they can't overcome.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I think probably, the issue really is an issue of self-confidence, mm-hmm. is an issue of self-esteem, and a whole host of other things that causes people to be jealous. It's not the action of the other person. Mm-hmm. It's the interpretation, the intrinsic interpretation that person has of the action of that person, of the other party, that really produces jealousy.
Yeah, so okay, we're in agreement here. We're in agreement on that one. No fighting. I take the gloves off. Let's see what the next one is. Let's see what we have here. Love at first sight. Do you believe in that? Do you believe in love at first sight?
Love at first sight or love at first bite? I don't know.
Who's doing the biting?
The vampire. I think that on that one, I think it's possible.
You think it?
I think it's possible. I have met.
You're a lover. You're a lover, then.
I'm a lover. Yes. I have met people who have, in fact, said that for them it was love at first sight, and in fact went on to have long and successful relationships. Mm-hmm. The thing about that, though, is that it cannot be love flowing in one direction. It has to be flowing both ways. So if it's love at first sight and both people feel that, and that love flows between two individuals, then I think it can happen. But I don't think it's the norm, though.
Yeah, it's not the norm. Although, do you feel that men are more visual than women?
I believe so. I think at least, although I've seen some men, and I question how visual they are, right? Not only in terms of how they carry themselves, right? Because if you're visual, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you are carrying yourself and you're trying to look your best, right? And I think that anything you want in another person should be reflected in you. So that if you are not carrying yourself in a way that to suggest that you're a visual person, then don't expect to have somebody whose visibility is quite pleasing to most people at your side. Let me put it that way. But I think men are generally more visual, although I think women these days, are getting quite visual as well.
Sometimes it's just about the connection, it's just about the connection. And yeah, so and I do feel that men are probably a little bit more visual, maybe in a sexual way more than women are,
Well, you really think so?
I do.
Listen.
I do. I think that. Because I think that when I look at a guy, I don't think about having sex with them. A guy will look at a girl and they think right away, ooh, I'd like to, you know what? Yeah.
Well,
so
I guess that is generally true, but I know that women look at men very critically. And they look, and these days especially, women are bolder than they used to be, right? I think that a lot of women are quite brazen in their sexual approach to life.
Do you like that? Do you like a woman to be, out there going for it?
It depends. I mean, if it's to be honest, I've had attention from some women that I really didn't want.
Yeah.
Okay, and I guess the same could be said of me. Probably I've given some women attention that they really didn't want either, right? But then all of that is in the human relationships, right? But if it's somebody whom I feel, hey, I'd like to be with, and then I receive attention from that person, well, what better world can there be?
Yeah. I do think that it's kind of up to us women to give the signals, let the man know that we're out there, we're interested. Yeah. So and I think that's helpful, don't you think?
It's very helpful, CC, especially in today's world with the Me Too movement, and women are now, and men should be now as well, much more conscious. It all started with the whole sexual harassment thing, right? Where women were being unduly sexually harassed on the job. And then it was basically a superior trying to get sexual favors from a junior. It evolved beyond that, right? Where today it's almost as if men are not sure how or when to approach a woman, because if you're a man with a certain caring personality and you don't want to make people uncomfortable or anything like that, or you don't want to be accused of such, then where does it really leave you? Because you don't know how that approach will be interpreted, even if you are as gentlemanly as possible or as innocent as possible. Because women, to me, have become more vigilant and more aggressive in terms of interpreting the actions of a man as being unwanted and all that sort of thing. So it's quite helpful today women make the first move.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we even have to make the first move.
But when I say so, at least indicate
that go signal.
At least indicate that there is some interest there. So, hey, buddy, it's okay. You can come across. We can talk or whatever, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, but I totally get what you're saying. But I think we need to be very clear, though, with regards to sexual harassment. There's not a fine line with that, because that truly, when someone is doing something that's totally inappropriate, that is sexual harassment, especially when when the other party versus could be male or female has said no, that, you know, that begin, you know, so it's more of a degrading thing. So yeah, but we're not. Yeah.
But then women, CC, the problem is that women don't always say no, or indicate, look, you know, I prefer, I mean, honestly, that if I make a move or I introduce myself to someone and I express some kind of interest, I'm the kind of guy I prefer to be told bluntly, look, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I remember, like, Derek, years ago, I mean, we're talking years and years when I looked good. And I was in a bar, right, with my girlfriends and stuff. And I met this really great guy. He was an older guy and very wealthy. You could tell he was extremely wealthy and stuff. And we talked all night long. We had fun. He bought me drinks, whatever. We had I had a great time with them.
Right.
And I would entertain going out with him again, but he was going away. And he said to me, listen, I'll pay for everything if you'll come with me. And, you know, like, women might have thought that that was some sort of a sexual harassment type of thing. I didn't. I took it as a compliment. You know, I thought, wow, he was kind of into me and I was kind of into him, but it didn't go anywhere because I couldn't, I had to go to work. But it's totally different. So, I mean, I guess it really depends on respect of how the other party is talking to you and about, how you're feeling with regards to it, So,
But then the question begs an answer, CC.
Yeah.
Then what really is sexual harassment? What yardstick, what measurement can be used to say this is sexual harassment, but this is not sexual harassment? I mean, to me, it's left up to the interpretation of individuals.
Well, right? I mean, I guess it depends on the severity of it, because, for instance, if it was my boss and he told me that I couldn't get my raise or I couldn't get paid or I couldn't leave, or there's certain things that were out of the norm that normal workers would do unless I did this particular favor. I will tell you, I did have that years ago. I worked at a place where I was passed up on an advance, and I asked the guy about it, and he said, well, if you go to bed with me, I'll give you the position. And it's like, and I was worried, and I came home to my husband and I said, guess what? I just quit my job.
Oh my God! And you were a married woman at the time.
Oh yeah.
And he was as blunt as that.
He was as blunt as that. He told me he would give me.
So that's a clear case of sexual harassment.
Now, that's sexual harassment. That's where I felt. Now, had I been in a position where I needed that job and it was the only income I had, I'd have been stuck. Because I would have had to go in there the next day after he said that to me, knowing how he felt that, number one, I wasn't going to get the advancement unless I did something. And then I got to look him in the eye every day. How's that going to be? And so that's sexual harassment. And I would have felt very uncomfortable, but I just quit on the spot. I just said, that's it. That was before we even started talking about sexual harassment, back in the day. But but the thing is that there is a definite line there, and and that's different about us dating and meeting relationships.
But then that's a clear case of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
There can be no question about that. But in the scenario you just intimated, which when you were in a bar and this guy came up to you as a rich guy, etc., the story you told before, and you did say that some women may have interpreted that as sexual harassment, right?
Right.
So in that kind of scenario, what is sexual harassment and what isn't? Because, to me, we're creating a world where men would only feel comfortable speaking with men and women are only feeling comfortable speaking with women.
Yeah. I guess it's probably because I wasn't offended by it. So I guess maybe that's what makes one of the sexual harassment things. And I was complimented by it, but the other thing is that there was no forcefulness. There was no like, you can't do this. I'm not going to let you out of the seat unless you say something, or you allow that. So there was nothing. There was no, and it was an offer. And so I guess maybe some women would be offended by that. Maybe they would interpret it
That's
as
what I want to know, why.
appropriate. Maybe they would, I don't know. I guess it would depend on the person. I felt it to be, I was kind of a compliment that he was, you know, that he thought me that attractive, that he would be willing to, you know, take me. And this was a pretty elaborate trip he was going on.
Right.
And so he said, let me know right now. I'll get the ticket right now.
I'll
And
get it together.
yeah.
So there was an offer.
There was
an offer.
It was an offer.
There was no acceptance.
No, I didn't accept.
So therefore, there was no contract.
No.
Right.
And a lot of regretting afterwards, I tell you that. No.
Oh my God.
But that's funny. Well, let's go on to our next thing. Let's see what it is. Let me go to it. It's now that I've won you over, you're mine.
You are mine. Wow.
What do you think about that?
Oh God.
How do you respond to that?
I think that's repulsive.
So can I boss you around?
You know.
Now that I have you, I can boss you around and can tell you what to do.
I think that's repulsive, to be quite frank, whether it's being done to the man or being done to the woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think any human being in this day and age can belong to another human being. I mean, neither physically, psychologically, or whatever. There has to be mutual agreement and understanding in every relationship. Mm-hmm. And there are different types of relationships. Mm-hmm. You know, some people are swingers, some people have open relationships, mm-hmm. some people have just me and you kind of relationships, right? They what do you call it? I'm looking for the word anyway. But you know what I mean.
Committed relationships.
Monogamous. Committed relationships to each other. Right? And that's fine. So I feel that when two couple is having a relationship, there should be clearly defined criterions as to how this relationship is supposed to operate. Right. Because to me, a relationship, like any other thing, is a contract. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a contract of how we are going to relate to each other.
Right.
And the minute the contract becomes uncomfortable, then the contract is broken. But to say that you are mine, no. Or I'm yours, no. I'll never belong to anyone. I don't expect anyone to belong to me. It doesn't mean to say that if I'm in a committed relationship, that I'm going to play around and get out there and do like if I'm single. Mm-hmm. Right? But, you know, again, that to me is a relationship based on jealousy. Right? This you are mine and I'm, you know, it's a jealousy type of thing.
It's based on possessive, about someone feeling like a need of control. And yes. That's not a relationship when someone feels like they have to control you.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It breaks all realms of trust.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah. So it's not one that you want. So if you ever, anybody out there listening, you ever get into a relationship like that, it's not a healthy one.
It's not healthy at all. It usually leads. See, that type of relationship usually leads to abuse.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
And it starts off mentally and it gets physical somewhere along the line.
Mm-hmm. And what happens too is it starts whittling away at whoever's the controlling party. It whittles away the other person. So absolutely. The other person starts becoming less and less of who they really are. And so it's sad. So that's not something that we want. And if anybody ever, you and I are both in agreement with that. So.
Yes, totally in agreement with that one, Cece.
Right. Oh, now this one's funny. How about this one? If you don't call me after a first date, you don't love me. What do you say? Okay. So what is the rule now for guys calling when you go on a date? What's up with that? What's this like? I'm not going to call you the next day. I'm going to make you wait for a few days. What's up with that?
Well, you know, I think a lot of people think that relationships are only about power and who has control in the relationship. And if I call you, I lose that power that I have because now I'm the one coming to you and wanting you in my life without you expressing the same. But this statement, you don't love me, to me, that's taking it a little far. After the first date, come on. I can say, look, if I don't call you after the first date, I probably don't lust you. But
that's interesting.
But there's nothing about love there, nothing about true love. A lot of people interchange lust and love.
That's true.
And that puts that relationship in trouble immediately. So
well, that is true. And I agree with you. I think there's two elements there. Number one is the fact that you've just met the person. So again, why would they really love you? I mean, I may be intrigued by you, wanting maybe more. But the other thing is, why would you feel, thinking on the other party, that is so upset about not being loved? Why are you that insecure about yourself?
That's the thing. And it's kind of
desperately needing that love. You need to get a dog, get a puppy dog or something, You need a little bit more help.
That one sounds kind of needy, right?
Yeah. Call your drink and your coach, and you need some talking to and working through these needs, because to think somebody's going to love you on the first date. I mean, it would be nice to think that someone would fall in love with us that quickly, but it comes back to the same love at first sight thing. Yeah. And that really, really, really ever happens. Mm-hmm. At least true love at first sight. Mm-hmm. Sometimes somebody don't call you after the first date is because they may be just trying to get to know other people. Mm-hmm. Right? Or it could be that, hey, the day didn't go as according to the expectations. Mm-hmm. Right? And expectations has a lot to do with disappointment and so on. Or it could be that, your conversation wasn't, what they were looking for. I agree with that. But I also think too that sometimes, and I'm thinking about the men, I think sometimes they're questioning on whether to lay it on the line. Are they going to get rejected? To call again, sometimes they're thinking about it. They're thinking about the conversation. They're thinking about the person. They're a little bit concerned what to do, what not to do, Yeah. So if they don't call the next day, now what I'll do, because if I like the person, I'll text them and say, thank you, I had a wonderful time. I've enjoyed being with you. I enjoyed meeting you, or something like that. I'll always do that, because what I'm doing there is, number one, I'm thanking them for a nice time. And I think that's a polite thing to do. But I'm also opening that door, because then I'm saying to you, I had a great time. But I don't ask him to call me. I don't ask him to take me out again. I just tell him that I had a great time. Thank you so much. It was great meeting you.
You're just making a very subliminal suggestion.
That's right. So I'm putting my, batting my eyes to you, and I'm letting you know, I'm giving you that signal that if you want to call me and continue on, you better be doing it.
Right.
So, yeah. So I totally get that. But now let me just ask you something here. I have been on dating sites before where a guy will ask you their phone number. We got to watch the time here a little bit. But a guy will ask you for the phone number, and you give him the phone number, and he doesn't call you. What the heck on that? What's up with that? I will tell you, if that man does not pick up that phone and call me, you can just lose the number, because
that goes both ways, because sometimes you ask a lady, a girl, whatever, for phone number, and she gives you willingly.
Right. And then you don't call her.
Well, no, then she never answers when you call.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I've never done that. I don't think I've ever done that. I think if I give you my number, I'm interested.
Because I want you to call me, right?
Yeah. I'm interested in it, but I really have had that happen where they haven't called, and it's like, what? Now I'm thinking,
I don't know.
okay, great, this must be a fake person or something, and they just
No, if I ask for a number, I'm going to use it.
yeah.
So I really don't understand people who ask for numbers
Mhm.
and don't call, or people who give numbers and don't answer.
Yeah.
That's beyond me. They have some problems of their own.
Yeah. Have you seen where there's one radio station out there that they have this number, a phone number, that if you're out and you meet somebody, like if you go out to a bar or whatever and you meet somebody, you can give them this number and then they'll call. Like you'll give the guy the number and he'll call like the next day or whatever and he'll try to talk to you. And it's really a recording now that's on the radio station.
Listen, I encountered that once.
Oh my God.
Yes, I did. I actually that was a few years back. I was in a party and I met this young lady. We danced and so on, and we had a good time. And I asked her for a number.
Yeah.
She gave me the number, and I have a habit of if somebody gives me a number, I check it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I called the number right away, and I got this stupid message. And I went to her and I asked her. I said, "Are you stupid?" I said, "What's your problem? Why would you give, if you didn't want to give me a number, just don't give me.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you give me somebody that goes to this stupid kind of almost insultive message? I mean, what's your problem? What's really going on with you?" And she had no answer. She was totally embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some people, and I view that as very immature people would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very immature. I mean, you have to be kind of immature.
Yeah.
Because you don't
throwing them under the bus. I mean, I've heard them, and some of the guys will keep calling and keep calling.
Oh man, no.
Yeah, and so that's funny. I mean, I guess it's funny, but it's still sad. It's very sad.
Yeah.
I will tell you a story about my ex, and I met him, and I never gave him, because I had children, I never gave him my home number. Back in the day, we didn't have cell phones. And so I didn't get my home number because I didn't want him to know my address or with my kids and stuff. And so so I always gave my work number, and we had moved. We had changed, and my boss was leaving, going out on his own. He was an attorney going out on his own. And so it was a new number, and I transposed the numbers. I got it mixed up, and I gave it to him. And he thought I had given him the wrong number on purpose.
Oh my!
And he knew I was the secretary for one of the local attorneys. And I told him about it, whatever. So he started calling and trying to contact me. And my girlfriends are all calling me and going, "This guy is trying to call you. Da, 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 da. He's British," and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I must have given him the wrong number." By the time he got a hold of me, he finally found my, where I was working. By the time he got a hold of me, he was so ticked off, he was going to tell me off. Then when I answered the phone, I didn't realize he was mad. And I answered the phone. I said, "Oh, I'm so glad that you called me." I said, "I realized that I didn't give you the right number because we had moved and blah, blah, blah." I told him that. And so he just kind of let it go. But then later on.
Well, I guess he was totally disarmed.
Oh, yeah, he was going to track me down and tell me off. That's what he was going to do. But it was just an honest mistake. I mean, it truly was an honest mistake. But it was funny. But yeah. So things do happen.
Things happen.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So anyhow, so we covered that one. The next one is my other half is out there somewhere. So somewhere. Mother where are you?
I don't have another half.
Uh-oh. Okay, we probably don't have much time to talk about. We got like 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Okay. I don't have I think I'm a whole person. I have this theory of doing the whole circle, right?
Okay.
And the theory of the whole circle is that you have to be whole within yourself. You have to be self-actualized. You have to have your self-awareness, self-confidence, all the good things that go with it, right? And so I don't view myself as a half. Anytime I say my better half is all this, because I'm viewing myself as half of something. And I think I'm whole. I believe there's another whole person out there, another whole circle that can link with this circle that is called me. And when that happens, you have a strong bond, right? But if you two have circles and you come together, oh my gosh, all kind of problems.
How you gonna know? How you gonna know?
No, just the way I look at it.
Tyler says you should be an actor. Okay, we're getting some responses here. I'm sorry. What a voice. See, Tyler says you have a great voice. I'm going to put this up here.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very nice voice there.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Be an actor. I think, guys, he is acting a little bit.
Oh my God.
A strong voice says, "Oh, you're a smart man." Listen, guys, you're ganging up on him. Andrew, your voice is epic. Is Andrew? Are you talking about my voice or his voice? So Andrew comments again. So thank you so much for listening to us. Oh, Ed said hi. Oh, do you guys take tips? Oh yeah, we'll take tips. But chain link, what's a chain link? Oh yeah, I don't know. We better be careful what we're talking about. But yeah.
Right.
So okay, so we're doing the circle thing. Bridget, so you're looking for a whole circle kind of girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what kind of oh wait, do we play Fortnite? I don't know what all that stuff is. But so what are the things, the elements within this circle? Are there a lot of things?
Well, I mean, basically, you have to be a balanced person, right? The way I regard human beings is that we are all spiritual beings having physical experiences here in this dimension, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a whole person, number one, you're going to have some balance between your spiritual self and your physical self. You're going to look for things that are greater than you are. You know, because I certainly don't consider myself the greatest thing in the world or the center of the universe. And the type of person I would gel with would also not look at themselves as, oh, it's all about me. It's you know, we are just very small. There's 7.5 billion people on the face of the earth, right? Then I would look for someone who is confident, intelligent, I would say self-actualized. That person must know who they are. They can't look too much outside of self to complete self. But they also have to be congruent. What they believe, their true beliefs, has to be expressed. You cannot expunge one philosophy but live completely opposite to that philosophy, in other words. So, you know, there's some elements that come together. You know, and I also like women who are independent in terms of, it's not that I'm ungiving. I'll give the person in my life anything, but I like women who are financially independent as well. It doesn't say that we are not both going to come together and share, we will. But I have never in my life looked for a woman who is just beautiful and have nothing else to contribute. You know, you have to be able to contribute in all areas. You know, and the same I expect of her, I expect the same thing of me. So, you know, that those are some of the elements of my circle.
Right. So I would say, what's happening here? What's happening?
Are you hearing me?
Do you hear that? I can hear your voice, but it seems like it's got a little strange. I'm going to try to just lower here a little bit. See. There we go. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying because, you know, for me too, I'm the same way with regards to, you know, someone's got to really, there's a lot of elements within the person that needs to be very strong, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I agree with that. You know, being a little bit older, I'm finding guys that are looking for a caretaker, and I'm not gonna. I'm not the mom, you know, so I'm just not going to do that. Not saying that I wouldn't, but I'm just saying that that's not the element that I'm looking for in a relationship. But yeah, so I totally get that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't think that guys should be looking for a mommy in a relationship. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
So what about being together all the time? So the next one is being together, that you meet and you're happy and you want to be, you have to be together all the time?
No, absolutely not. I'll probably get bored to death, as interesting as that person could be. Yes, simply because I think that people need their own space. their own time, their own time to think, to be free, you know, to be able to express their thoughts without the encumbrance of wondering how this other person would feel about it, or being able to just be free. Take some time. I take time every single day for me. You know, and sometimes it's just being quiet or just looking at some show that I like to look at. And I expect, you know, the person in my life to also desire that. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't enjoy a lot of time together, certainly, but not all the time.
Right. That's weird. It's gotten strange. But yeah, I totally agree with that, because I think that with us having different interests, makes it a little bit more exciting, you know, and maybe not having compatible interests, but having some interests that, you know, the other party doesn't like. Like, I don't necessarily want to go bungee jumping off of a bridge or something, but if you want to do that,
listen, I would look at you bungee jump every day. Right?
I'll be happy to hold your soda as you go down, but I'm not jumping with you.
I'm not jumping. I'll look at you and say, honey, you are so brave. Look how many pictures I took.
Meet you down there. So so there's a lot of interest that I think it's okay for people to have outside interests to do other things. It makes them more exciting, you know, gives you something to talk about, you know. But I'm with you. I don't think we have to be with each other 24 hours a day. But the time we spend together has to be good quality.
Has to be good time.
Yeah, has to be.
You know, and each person brings different elements to relationship.
Right.
You know. You know, one person might like bungee jumping, the other person like my scuba diving, you know, so it's...
Yeah. I agree. And then some things that are compatible that you do together, which are kind of nice too.
Absolutely.
Listen, the show is about our differences. So if you cannot agree with everything I see, not agreeing with me.
Well, you know.
Okay. So yeah. But no, it's true. I mean, I think we're very compatible on a lot of issues, which is really good. So
right. So therefore, although men are from Mars and women are from Venus, we may not be too different after all.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm looking at the next question here. Okay, here's the next one. The next one is: you say you like me, but I need to pressure you to be with me. Holy smokes.
Golly. That's a tough one, really. I know that some people are loners, some men in particular are loners. I know too that younger men especially sometimes end in a relationship, but there is still the pull of that group that they went to college with, or they came through high school with, and they still want to spend more time with that group than with the person that they are married to or that they have a relationship with, an intimate relationship. And they may be very much in love with that person, right? But if that person has to pressure you to spend time with them, and I place emphasis on the word pressure, then something is wrong. Something is wrong there. That is not... I mean, if I'm in love with someone, they would never have to pressure me to be with them, you know? So I don't think that is love.
Yeah.
It should read, I know that you lost me, and you are with me when you want to express that lust. It's not about love.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that if that's happening in a relationship, it's just a downhill.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you know, you do want someone that wants to be with you freely. I mean, I'm not saying that they might want to go hang with the guys, or they golf, or they have other interests. That's fine, but if they're always coming up with other things to do, they always have work. They're always working. Making money. 'Cause I'll tell you, I did date a guy. I'll be straight up. I dated a guy and always had to work, and never had any money. Never could go out.
Always had to work and never had money.
But he would go and buy clothes. He'd go buy a new outfit, new shoes. I mean, 15 pairs of shoes. But he could never ever. And it's like, okay, well, what is not? The picture here is not right.
Yeah, that's not right. No.
Right. So he was more into himself than he was actually into me. And
right.
So that's not a relationship. So, yeah.
And there are people out there who are narcissistic and have all kind of different problems and so on. Look, I have I know someone who would be with women, right, for as long as he can get something out of them. And wouldn't even care to go out with them beyond the point that it suits his needs. So, I always tell women, that you have to be careful, right? You have to be careful out there. There are guys out there who would just take advantage, especially, and I'm not being facetious or anything, but especially when a woman gets to a certain age, right? And if she finds herself single, right? Yeah, I'm serious. Because there are men out there who they would take advantage of vulnerabilities, right? Because, you're a certain age, you want company, either your husband has passed on or you are divorced or whatever, but you still desire that good company in your life. And some women tend to accept, right now. I know a woman, for instance, who met a young man. She's probably in her 60s. This young man is in his 30s, right? He lives in another country and claims that he is so much in love with her, right? And she wants to spend what little money she has to go meet this guy. And I'm telling her, well, no, you got to be careful with these things. First of all, it's an Arabic North African country you're going to.
Oh, yeah.
Secondly, this young man, you don't really know anything about him except that he made you feel good after your husband died. And now he's saying he's in love with you, but he doesn't have anything to offer you, right? Except this love that he says he has for you. Trap, as far as I'm concerned. There are a lot of red flags.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think it's all about building a relationship. And so if the relationship is right, all the elements will start coming into, as you said, your full circle.
Oh, yes.
So if it doesn't, then there's something there. And I think we have to be clear on it. There's things that we will accept in our lives, and we know what it is, And I dated a younger guy one time, and I knew exactly what it was. And,
right.
And, that's exactly what it was. And it was great,
right.
But I knew it wasn't going to be anything more than that. But the thing is that and I didn't get hurt over it because I didn't expect, my expectations were exactly what they should do, And so I think that we need to know that. We need to know what we're going to do and move forward. And if we want a particular kind of relationship, then that's what we need to go for, and not hold ourselves out to he's going to do this, he's going to do that. He needs to do it now. He needs to step up and do it now.
You use a very important word, expectations, right? Because expectations is the one thing that can lead to disappointments and hurt and pain, etc. So I always tell people, if you're going into a relationship, see it for what it really is. Go in eyes wide open so that you know the parameters of the relationship. If it's about one thing, don't expect it to be about another thing. Now, saying that, it doesn't mean that relationships can't grow and blossom into the fullness of the beauty of a relationship.
Right.
But at the same time, don't expect it. Just
sometimes
let it be.
right? Love where you're at the moment. Just live in the moment.
Live in the moment. Yes.
We're gonna have to close the show. This was a lot of fun.
It was.
Great guy. I tell you, it's really fun being on the show with you. And I know, are we coming back every week, or we do every 2 weeks? What are we doing here?
Well, I mean, what do you prefer to do? What do you think?
Whatever you like to do, I'm here. You want to come every week? If you feel like coming for every week for a while,
yeah, let's come every week and see what happens.
So we'll be back on next Thursday.
I thoroughly enjoyed being on the show with you, Sissy. Yeah, I look forward to it.
TV, right? You're gonna watch TV. Oh,
yes.
But it was a lot of fun. Well, this is the Boy and Girl thing, and I am CC Schatz, and I have with me.
And I'm Derek Bernard.
Okay, and we'll see you next time around. Bye for now.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.